Hold on one second. There we go. All right. So, there's some interesting stuff going on. I think mostly, I don't know who follows Bruce, Bruce Simpson, also known as XJet, on, he's got two, I think, YouTube channels, but he did his response to the FAA, and it was just spot on. Really, really good content. So I hope anybody that flies FPV or flies, you know, any kind of remote control, anything, goes up in the air, because that's basically what they're trying to take away from us. Checks him out and watch his video, watch his, you know, watch his response to the FAA. And it really, to me, what made it so special, what I really liked about it, was that it touched on how this will put us, and I say us, as the United States of America, as a nation, at a huge disadvantage in regards to STEM and the development of unmanned aerial systems, drones, and not just drones, planes, wings, anything up in the air. You can go to communist China, and I'm going to get into some rants on this one, because I'm pretty ticked about everyone in this industry tries. Well, I understand why they really tiptoe around politics. Well, I'm not that guy, baby. I'm that guy who's going to get in your face about it, and just who I am. So the people that follow me are probably going to lean in my political directions, I would suspect. Now, I don't affiliate myself with either party, but I don't understand why people are so afraid to embrace anything in politics. Well, I do in some ways, like, because they have to protect their brand, their channel, and if they take a lean politically, that's going to be really negative for them. They look at it as, because they can alienate a large part of their customer or viewer base, and that can have negative effects. So I get that. But you got to own it. You know, whatever your leanings are, I guess. Like, we're all people. We all have beliefs, and we're going to think a certain way, and just, you know, like, don't be afraid of it. Like, just own it. Because otherwise we don't get to discuss very important things that need to be discussed, in my IMO, my own opinion. That's part of the reason why I've embraced this Politically Homeless channel, and why I want to talk about more political things, is that there's not enough of it. And because so much, except for an insane fraction of the left who is just completely nuts, nobody wants to talk about it. It's just like, it's taboo. It's not. It's not. You know, I'm a huge freedom of speech advocate, and the only way you get rid of really bad speech is with more speech. Not from censorship, not from trying to silence people. That never works. Has never worked. Will never work. The answer to really bad and terrible speech is more speech, good speech, better speech. That's what I was raised on and what I've read and what I believe. So, yeah. Anyways, back to the focus. I wasn't in Washington, D.C. this weekend. Really bummed out about that, but I wasn't going to lie. Not with everything that's going on right now. I'm kind of in ground zero for the coronavirus, so to fly out for me, the Bay Area is like ultra high risk right now. Sorry, just it is. I'm not doing it. We'll see in the next week or two what's going on. I just, I watched some really horrifying videos of people getting welded in their apartment buildings and boarded up. Just bad stuff that made me extra worried. And then I paid very close. I'm one of those people that's hyper intelligent for like in certain things, and one of those things is the gathering of information. Like I can really just pick up and satellite in on things, and the information did not add up with what was coming out of the reports, and I was like, this isn't good. So, I would love to see it not be an issue. I can't even say the word because YouTube's got nuts about it. I can't even say the name of what we're talking. You know what we're talking about, but you can't say it. So they have. I think things are going pretty good. Well, we'll see. I mean, if it explodes, it explodes. But I've been kind of impressed with the last couple of days not seeing reports of like we had the San Francisco declared a state of emergency on Thursday, and we've gone pretty much the whole weekend, and I haven't really seen any, an explosion of cases. So this is good. That's good. But we'll see. It's still too early to be like, oh, we're okay. But my fingers are crossed, and I'm hoping everything's all right. Just this was something I wasn't going to mess around with, and I wasn't going to fly my 9-year-old son out there with all these fears and worries and subject him to who knows what. So I wasn't able to be there physically, but spiritually I was. And let me get back to X-Jet and Bruce Simpson. One of the things that his video really hones in on is how important it is that people are allowed to do, what makes Bruce Simpson so special is back in 2003, I think it was, he built his own cruise missile. Okay. Now, Bruce Simpson doesn't know this, but we are birds of a feather, kindred spirits. See, I'm going to tell some stories now. I never got called by the FBI or CIA, but it does explain why maybe they had a closer eye on me than most. When I was 11 to 13 years old, one of my best friends in the neighborhood, this guy, Eric Schwab, his dad was a defense contractor, and he worked here, local. I mean, that's why they lived right here in Walnut Creek, because he worked right close by in Concord naval stations and some other spots in the Bay Area that had weapon military installations. He was the coolest dad ever when you were a boy growing up, because we just got to do whatever, but he gave us the tools to really have some fun. Like we were really into model rocketry, and I was, at least. And he was into, like his dad always took him hunting. That was the first family I went, not from my own dad, but from Mr. Schwab, who, I'm glad I'm making this video, man. Shout out to Mr. Schwab, dude. The guy was so cool. It's the first guy that took me out to a real shooting range. I was probably like 10 or 11 years old. And, he's shooting his Black Hawk 44 Magnum. And I was like, and they taught me how to not just like shoot a gun, but how to handle it properly, and the safety and the responsibility You know what I mean? That is required for proper gun management. And it was so good that I look back and I'm just very thankful that he was one of my best friends, and his dad kind of took me under his shoulder and to show me what was up with a lot of things. You know, as I grew up and was in the infantry and was a saw gunner and whatever, you know, I really appreciated, looking back, really appreciated that. Mr. Schwab was cool dude. But anyways, so I was into model rocketry, and Eric always had this real creative kind of mind, and he was like, we could make our own Stinger missile launcher. So we did, man. We took some PVC pipe from the local construction site, and we just kind of like DIY'd it. This was my first experience in like DIY electronics and everything. We built this thing. You just held it on your shoulder, and we even had a little sight that came off of it, and you could just. It was beautiful. And then, like with the red rocket engines, model rocket engines, those gave a fire reverse engine to like another stage of rocket. So if you put in some fireworks or whatever in that reverse spot that would light that, then you basically had a missile. The thing would light and boom. So we had a lot of fun with that. This was so many years ago. Like kids do this these days, they will get locked up. But this was, you know, in the '80s. It was a different time, and we were very ingenuitive kids. You know, these like looking back, and stuff I got into and was able to create. Like how I don't own some Fortune 500 company now. It's a shame. It's a real shame. So, anyways, yeah, that was some fun stuff. Made my own missile launcher. I had it for a number of years. Who knows what happened to it? I'm sure my parents just, you know, threw it in the garbage, took it apart at some point. But it was pretty cool. Um, so when I watched Bruce Simpson and he's talking about he made his own cruise missile, you can see the parallels, and it's like, wow, man, me and this guy, I totally get it. And he nailed it. His speech and what he talks about on why the FAA really needs to just back off because it isn't going to work. I mean, you have thousands and thousands of people that are flying every day that aren't going to hook any kind of. We're just not. It's not happening. We can't put that kind of crap on our quads. Our quads will fly like crap if they'll even work. Not to mention the expenses. Do you know how expensive FPV is? There's no room for that. Like I'm not spending hundreds of dollars to pay to play. It's not happening. So you go ahead, you legislate whatever you want, but I'll be on the front lines with a middle finger, flying every single day. You will never stop. So I got a lot more I can talk about. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that for now. So hopefully you guys like my live stream. We still have a couple days left, maybe today and tomorrow. So I recommend if you have not left a comment on the FAA website, please go do it. Let them know what FPV means to you, what, you know, and what their legislation means to you. Like, are you, you know, just lay it out to them flat, because then at least, you know, I figure we're not doing any favors not being honest with them. Being like, oh, thank you, FAA, we'll do whatever you say. No, no. We're going to do what we do. We're going to do what we do. So, yeah. Take care. Happy flying. Rips and packs. Go charge them up. It's going to be windy as hell out here tomorrow in California, but the rest of the week looks beautiful. So, yeah. Oh, I got Hero 8 coming, so we're gonna have some great content on a new GoPro. Something I haven't, the abilities on that Hero 8 are supposedly pretty awesome with the hyper smooth, like 2.7K at 60 frames per second, all kinds of good stuff. So yeah, good stuff. And I got a new build coming out. So please stay tuned. If you haven't already subbed, please do. We'll check you later.